Hi, I'm starting a new video series and it's called To Catch or Not to Catch. And this is more of an exploitative idea that you can implement in your game um, based on player profile and based on the run out basically. In some spots, the type of player is over bluffing, and in some spots, the type of player in combination with the spot is under bluffing. And then you can deviate a little bit from GTO and come to an accurate river decision basically. In this hand, I open ace queen suited in the button and I get a call from the big blind. And we go to a flop, which on 9-7-3, ace queen suited of hearts, we can stab small, but mostly check is my standard play. We do not really fold out any better hands, and we do not get that much calls by worse hands that have low equity, and we do not want to blow the pot basically. So I like check here, and then on the turn we get a barrel, and this is already interesting. Like, can you have bluffs here? What kind of player is it? Herefore we can look at his stats. I found some relevant stats on him. I'm looking at it. I did not want to put the HUD in this video, but I had almost 3,000 hands on this dude. His one when saw flop was 52. This means he has a high bluff frequency compared to the average player. His aggression factor on the flop, turn, and river were 43, 50, and 41. This is quite high, so he likes to barrel and bluff. And his turn stab in single raise pots out of position. So when the initial raiser checks back, like I did in this example, was 58% on the turn, 14 out of 24 times. And a river follow-up was 100%, 8 out of 8. So these were like the relevant stats. You can look them up. If you do not know how to use it, send me a DM and I'll explain you in the Discord. But in general, so the player profile was pretty aggressive, and then the spot itself on a 9-7-3 board, when he uses big sizing, he basically says he has 9x or better, so 3s, 9x, and then bluffs, and what kind of bluffs he can have here on this flop is quite a lot. I could see him bluff with 10-8 type of hands, 10-jack type of hands, 4-5, 6-5, 6-8, diamonds. So if he has overcards with a diamond in it, it would be nice. So lots of bluffs here, which makes this an easy call because we only need to win the pot like 29% of the time. So this is like an easy call. And then on the river, he fires an overbet, which on this river I find pretty strange because on the turn he said he has a 7, while I check back 7s on the flop, so I could easily have 7s, so 7x. So it does not make much sense to bet big on the turn with a 7. And seeing this player profile, I opted for a call. So based on the story, the stats I have, And the odds I get, he needs to bluff here 37% of the time, and I would think he would be bluffing here more than 37% of the time. So I called, and indeed he had like an overcard with a diamond in it. I like his turn play, but it's clear that if you're not balanced here on the turn, this spot is way over bluffed. He should find some checks with some of his draws, basically, else he's firing way too much, and this is like a snap call. To demonstrate this, if this spot is overbluffed or underbluffed by the specific player profile, we go back to GTO Wizard to just check how this spot works in a GTO way. So I put in the big blind versus button situation, the 5.5 big blinds on the flop, 9-7-3. The big blind is supposed to check a lot here, so he checks. Then the button has a middle list frequency with c-betting here, and the c-betting is wrapped around the 9 mostly. Direct overcards, flush draws of course, backdoors and everything. And you see mostly ace king of diamonds checks, for example, ace queen of diamonds also checks a lot. So checking the flop seems like a decent play with ace queen. The turn is a 3, and we decided to give the big blind just one step sizing. Maybe he's also using an overbet or sometimes block betting, but for this purpose I just gave him one sizing to make it easy, because I do not have the data if he's using multiple sizings. Anyway, when you look at what kind of hands he bluffs, Jack 8 suited, he basically always bluffs here. 10-8 suited is already with an open-ender, is already bluffed at a less fast or a less frequency. Without the spades and diamonds, it bluffs less. 8-6 suited bluffs less. 6-5 suited bluffs even less. But this dude had Jack 8 off, which is not even supposed to be in his range, although this depends on the rake structure, and I have a high rake structure range here. But assuming that he calls Jack 8 off, he probably also could be calling 10-8 off and 6-5 off type of hands too, and 5-4 off type of hands maybe. So he has a lot of bluffs here, and you see here already that even with a very tight range, he's supposed to check a lot of open-enders and straight draws, basically. So we can assume that this type of player, based on the stats we have on him, is overbluffing the turn. It's already GTO wise, ace queen suited is already on the turn, always a call. For the river, I gave the big blind 2 sizings, especially on this 7, which is quite neutral, and I in the button can have quite a bit of 7s. It seems more logic to bet small as the big blind if you have a 9, for example, or a 3. Although 3s do quite a bit of overbetting still. I see 7x is also overbetting, and then 9x is mostly betting sizing small. For the overbet sizing, you see that Jack 8 is already checking and giving up. 10-8 is mostly checking on the river. 8-6 is mostly checking. And this dude fired an overbet. So we can assume that he is hugely over bluffing this spot in combination with his stats. Normally ace queen suited of spades is mostly a fold and sometimes a call, but since this dude is over bluffing, I made a pure call here. So to wrap it up, to come to a accurate river bluff catch decision, we first want to know, how does the spot work in GTO? Then what kind of player am I up against, so I know how to deviate from GTO. Then do I have specific stats and notes to come to an even more accurate decision? And then is this spot overbluffed by this player or underbluffed? And then you can safely press the call or the fold button. Let me know what you think and how you solve these kind of bluff catching spots. Thank you for watching.